morning and welcome to English class. I am Prakash, PGT English, JNV, Pedavegi. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting and very relevant lesson to the present situation, the last spring. As many of you have seen, the migrants returning to their native places. Now I want to present a slide. Please observe this. Many of you might have known the migrant laborers returning to their native places, either by walk or in different modes during the lockdown period. You see in this picture, along with their parents are also coming their children. My question is, what did the children do there when their parents went to the workplace? Some might be playing, some spent idly, even some parents took them to the workplace. But I am sure that nobody went to the school. In course of time, they adjust there with the workplace and become child labor in industries, factories, and even in fireworks. You see, there is a boy, two boys, they are just in the garbage. Observe it very closely. What are the boys and where are the boys and what are they doing? Yes, the boys are in the garbage and they are just scrounging for something. They may be picking up some garbage, picking up some papers, the disposable glasses, and some pieces of plastic material. Yes. Can you expect what they are scrounging for? They are scrounging for, they are looking for some pieces of iron, pieces of plastic, disposable glasses, and etc. What will they do with them? They go to the shops and they sell and earn some money. So this is the plight of the children and the rags. Again, I will show the second picture. You please observe this. See here, the title of this is Migrant Laborers Returning. Okay, what do you notice in the picture? In the first picture, you find that some of the migrant laborers, they were just taking shelter there under the tree. Some are sleeping, some are eating, and some are discussing. And in this second picture, they have started returning to their villages. Okay, right. Whom do you find along with the parents? So you can find their children were also returning from the workplaces or industrial area or the place of work to their native places. What are they carrying? They are carrying bag and baggage. Not only that, they are also carrying their children. They are also carrying their children. You see, I want to show one picture, a tree of seasons. So, observe this tree and find out. So, which part of this tree is most beautiful and colorful and green? Yes, this part is very green in color and it shows the spring season. There are 4 seasons in this. This tree depicts 4 seasons and this part depicts the spring season. So you can again see 2 pictures here, and in the one picture, the first picture, there are children and here also is a group of children. In the first picture, these children are very happy, they are enjoying the life and they are very happy with the life. But whereas in this picture, you see this. There is anxiety, worry, and then they are working there. There is no happiness in these lives. So, in the first picture, depicts the spring season because spring denotes happiness, joy, enjoyment, and everything. And this first picture depicts that. And in this second picture, it is that spring season is lost because these people are worrying a lot about their future. They are working there, though they are small children. We can say that it is what is called the spring season is lost. That means in their lives, happiness is lost, joy is lost, and everything is lost except the work. To some extent, we say that these children are child laborers. Child laborers. We are going to see a lesson, the last spring, the stories of stolen childhood by Anis Jung. So the last spring, the stories of stolen childhood was written by Anis Jung. She was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in England and United States of America. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad and has authored several books. You see, the entire lesson is divided into two parts with the stories of three children. Their lives have been stolen by poverty and the circumstances and the situation. And in the first one, let us see about Simapuri. So in the first part, there is a child by name Sahib-e Alam. Okay, so every day this Sahib-e Alam was scrounging for something in the garbage, and then the writer Anis Jung used to go there and then ask, what are you scrounging for? And he would say that he was scrounging for something, some plastic material, some disposable glasses, and sometimes even coins. So let us see, where did this boy come from and what was his family background. So the title of the first one is, I find a rupee in the garbage, says Sahib-e Alam. The first part tells the writer's impressions about the life of the poor rag pickers. The rag pickers have migrated from Dhaka and found a settlement in Simapuri. Their fields and homes had been swept away by storms. They had come to the big city to find a living. They are very poor. The writer watches Sahib every morning scrounging for gold in her neighborhood. So garbage is a means of survival for the elders and for the children. It is something wrapped in wonder. The children come across a coin or two from it. These people have desires and ambitions, but they do not know the way to achieve them. There are quite few things that are unreachable to them, namely shoes, tennis. Sahib would go around with a group of boys, all barefoot, some wearing a different shoe in both feet. While there were some who wore torn shoes, some desperately wished that they could find a pair in the garbage heaps. Besides this, one boy claims it is a tradition to remain barefoot. The other is left wondering whether it is actually so or it is an excuse to hide the never-ending poverty which has gripped them. Later, Sahib joins a tea stall where he could earn 800 rupees per day, 800 rupees and all the meals. The job has taken away his freedom. So Sahib feels that the steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. Let us see the main points in the life story of Sahib-e-Alam. So, in the second part of this lesson, we are going to see the life of Mukesh. You see, I want to drive a car, Mukesh says. The second part deals with the life of Mukesh, who belongs to the family of bangle makers. Firozabad is best known for its glass blowing industry. Nearly 20,000 children are engaged in the business, and the law that forbids child labor is not known here. The living condition and the working environment is a woeful tale. Life in dingy cells and working close to the hot furnaces make these children blind. Weighed down by the debt, they can neither think nor find a way to come out of this trap. So Mukesh, just like any one of the children, has his own ambitions in life. He wants to drive a car, he wants to be a mechanic. So just like any one of the children, this Mukesh also has his own ambition in life. Okay, let us see something more about this Mukesh here. Yes, the women in the household consider it as their fate and just follow the tradition. Mukesh is different from the rest of the folk here. Why? Because these children of this Firozabad, they are more so engaged in the bangle making. Whereas Mukesh has got his own ambition in life. He wants to drive a car. Mukesh is different from the rest of the folk there. He dreams to become a motor mechanic. The garage is far away from his house, but he shall walk. So this is about Mukesh. So let us recap about Mukesh. So Mukesh wants to become a motor mechanic, a driver, but which is very far away from this, because the garage is far away from his house, and then it is very difficult for him to what is called to get his dreams fulfilled in his life. Let us see the main points in the life story of Mukesh. They are caught in the vicious circle of shahukars, middlemen, policemen, and bureaucrats and politicians. The poor bangle makers have come to accept their fate as something natural. To do anything else would mean to dare. Finally, the narrator Anis Jung feels happy because Mukesh is free from the idea of bangle makers, from the people of the bangle makers. She is happy that Mukesh has dared to break away from this vicious circle. He has decided to be a motor mechanic. He says that he will go to a garage and learn the job. Though the garage is a long way from his home, he says that he will walk all that distance to fulfill his dream. So these are the middlemen in this lesson: the policemen, shahukars, moneylenders, and lawyers. So we are going to see yet another girl in the second part. Yet another girl is there by name Savita. Savita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongues of the machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles. it will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a real veil. Her hands dyed red with henna and red bangles rolled onto her wrist. She will then become a bride. So here this girl, she doesn't know the sanctity of the bangles she was making. Let us see the main points in the life story of Savita. Okay, so these are the three stories, the stories of these three children, and hence the last spring in their life. First, we have seen the life story of Sahib, a rag picker, and Mukesh, he wants to become a mechanic, motor mechanic, and a driver. And we have seen also the life story of Savita. So all these three children, we can say that they are forced laborers. Okay, so sometimes Einstein asked these people, why can't they form into cooperatives? Seeing the pitiable condition, miserable condition of these children, she just asked some people, why can't they form into cooperatives? And for that they say that yes, if somebody comes forward, he has to look after his own business. That is, livelihood is required. Food is required for that man, and nobody cooperates with that fellow also. Besides that, there are some people, the middlemen, the policemen, and bureaucrats. Okay, if somebody comes forward to make or to group them into cooperatives, they won't accept. They are hauled up and beaten black and blue. So this is the reason. There are two distinctive words in the lesson. You can observe what are the two distinctive words in this lesson. So these people in the first picture, we say that these people are caught in the web of poverty, and then the stigma of caste tradition. That means they must work. They must work according to their caste. But here in the second picture, we see that these are all middlemen, the policemen, shahukars, and the others. And this is the two distinctive words in this lesson, oppressed and the oppressor. So these are two distinctive words. First one is oppressed, means these people are caught in the web of poverty and they are oppressed by whom? You see that the families of the bangle makers belong to one world. Second point, these workers are caught in the web of poverty. And third, they are also burdened by the stigma of the caste in which they are born. They know no other work. So this is what is about the oppressed section of the section. This is the oppressed section, and then you can understand how they are oppressed by their own stigma of caste or caste-based professions. And there is another set. What is that? Oppressors. Oppressors. Who are they? The other world in the other world is the vicious circle of the moneylenders, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of the law, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. This is the oppressor. Okay. So who is responsible for the poverty of the people means we can say that the oppressors. So far we have seen the life stories of these people and who are responsible for not letting them into cooperatives. Okay, what is the gist of this lesson? Let us see the slide once. Okay, let us summarize the lesson because it is a very lengthy lesson. That's why let us summarize the lesson once. The author examines and analyzes the impoverished conditions and traditions that condemn the children to a life of exploitation. These children are denied an education and forced into hardships early in their lives. The writer encounters Saheb, a rag picker whose parents have left behind the life of poverty in Dhaka to earn a living in Delhi. His family, like many other families of rag pickers, lives in Simapuri. They do not have other identification other than a ration card. The children do not go to school and they are excited at the prospect of finding a coin or even a 10 rupee note for rummaging in the garbage. It is the only way of earning the livelihood. They live in impoverished conditions but are resigned to their fate. The writer is pained to see Saheb, a rag picker whose name means the Lord of Universe, lose the spark of childhood and roams about in barefooted. From morning to noon, the author encounters him in a tea stall and is paid rupees 800. He sadly realizes that he is no longer his own master, and this loss of identity weighs heavily on his tender shoulders. The author then tells about another victim, Mukesh, who wants to be a motor mechanic. Hailing from Firozabad, the center of India's bangle making and glass blowing industry, he has always worked in the glass making industry. His family, like the others, they do not know that it is illegal for children to work in such close proximity to furnaces in such high temperatures. They are exposed to various health hazards like losing their eyesight. They work in abstinal conditions in dark and dingy cells. Mukesh's father is blind, as were his fathers and grandfathers before him. They led a hand to mouth existence as they are caught in the vicious web of money lenders, middlemen, police, and the traditions. So burdened are the bangle makers of Firozabad that they have lost their ability to dream, unlike Mukesh, who dreams of driving a car. So, before we close the lesson, let me ask some few questions on this lesson. The first question is, where does the narrator Anis Jung encounter the rag picker Saheb Alam every morning? The second question is, why is the narrator Anis Jung at having made a promise that was not meant? The third question is, what was Mukesh's dream and did he achieve it? Question number 4, which forces conspire to keep the workers of bangle industry in Firozabad in poverty? Question number 5, why couldn't the workers of bangle industry in Firozabad organize themselves into cooperatives? That is the end of the lesson. Thank you.